Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're gonna continue with our YouTube clone and probably just finishing off the channel page and construct some loops and also construct variables so we can click on different buttons to be able to hide some pages that we don't need and so forth. What we can do is go to components, and I will probably remove these because we don't need them. Okay. In our components folder, we want to create some JavaScript files. So this will be shorts underscore container, just like that, .jsx, or it's gonna be .js actually. So that's nice. Okay, so in here, and we can also move this to the. We can actually show you guys the code that we need to write. And I will probably not write this because it's quite long, so I will just copy it and explain it for you guys. Okay, so we want to create a constant, which is gonna be a list, or actually a list with the different elements, and these elements is gonna display the different shorts, and they're gonna have some variables, which is gonna be ID, the title of the short. I'm just naming all the titles short1. It's also gonna have a variable views, which is 50,000 views, and we also want a variable that explains the date as well. And we actually want 9 of these shorts. You can also add more if you want to. You can add 100 shorts. It's totally fine. But we also want to export this variable, or the cons that we just created. And if you want to code this by yourself, then just pause the video and start your coding, and we can move on after you have done that. Okay, so after that we also want to create a video container.js file, and this will contain the videos that we want to loop over, and we're also gonna loop over the shorts as well. But let's create this file. So this is gonna be video underscore container.js. And inside here we want to do the exact same thing, or the same logic. But this file is going to contain more variables or consts. So the first const is going to be named videos1, and this will contain first videos. Then we also want to have a container. I think we have already. Nope, never mind. Okay, so in this. And then after that we have constructed this variable or const. We also want to create a videos2, which is gonna contain our second row of videos, which is gonna have the same length, which is gonna be 4. And since we have no 0 index here on the ID, we obviously get 10 as the last ID. And the reason why we have also these types of IDs is because they won't clash with the other IDs on the page. We also want to create a shorts container as well. So this is gonna be const shorts container, and as you guys can see, the IDs will actually collide with each other. That's fine. We will probably just get a warning, and it will probably work, or it will work. So what we can do now is export these consts here, and I'm gonna show you guys the code first before we continue with the last file. So first we create a const which is gonna have the name of videos1, and this is gonna contain 4 elements. And here's the code. You guys can pause the video and write it out for yourself. Then after that we create another const which is gonna have the name of shorts container, and this is gonna contain 6 elements, and here's the code. And after that we also want to create a const which is gonna be having a name of videos2, and this is gonna have 4 videos as well. And that's pretty much for this file, and here's the code, and here is the export that you also have to add for this to work. Yeah, okay. So now we want to create another file which is gonna have videos, and not video container underscore js underscore container js, and this is gonna just have a name of videos, so it's gonna be plural. videos underscore container.js. And inside of here, we just want to create more videos. And the reason why I created multiple files is because this is gonna have display the elements for the different pages that we're gonna create. So this will just have a const, which is gonna have the name of videos, and here is all the elements, and the elements is practically the same. The only difference is the ID variable. And after that, we also just want to export this const so we can use it in our JSX file. Okay, great. So now we have 3 JavaScript files, but we also need one styling file for the videos. So let's create that, and this is gonna be videos.css. And if you find the name conventions here to be irritating, then please change it to your preference. Anyways, so inside of here there's a lot of styling, and I'm gonna try to explain this, but I might actually want to create the layout first, because that's gonna explain a lot more. So let's do that. So inside of channel.jsx here, we want to create some logic for all the different pages that we need. But first we can actually go over to our browser and see if anything has changed. So let's do that. So as you guys can see, we are in our channel page now. We can navigate to our YouTube homepage, but we want to stay in the channel page. Now, what we want to do is essentially create logic for these buttons here to work. So this page here is in fact changing, because these buttons in fact defines the different pages on your channel page. And I also see here that we can't scroll on these video containers here, and I fixed that actually. So I will implement that as well in the channel page script, or the channel page style script. So let's first do that and then go over to the different pages here. So let's go back to our VS Code here and try to implement this change of style. So let's head over to our channel.css, and I'm just gonna check so everything is correct. I think it is correct, because we want to change the video container. So let's head over there. Here, right? Yeah. Okay, so inside video container, we want to have the width of min dash content. We also want to add a height of auto, which we have. We want to have display flex and display align item center. But we also want to add an overflow here, which is going to be x, and this is going to have an attribute of scroll. And I typed it wrong. Now we also want to change something for the for you div as well, and this is going to be, I think it is these 4 attributes or properties. Yeah, right. So we want to create a flex of 1, and this will essentially make us able to use the whole dimensions of this div. Then we want to create overflow auto, which will create scroll bars depending on what need we need, or what use we have for that div. And we essentially want us to be able to scroll in the horizontal axis. Now these 2 options here hide the scroll bar for us, depending on what type of browser. So this property here hide the scroll bar for our Internet Explorer and Microsoft Edge, and this property here hide our scroll bar for Firefox. And I think that's really it actually. So let's head over to our browser and see if this works. So as you guys can see, we have a scroll bar here, but we can't scroll because we need to add more items. So let's do that. Let's head over to our VS Code again and go into our, I think it is short, nope, it's a video container, right. So let's see how many items we have. So videos 1 here is 4. Let's change that to maybe, I can actually just copy this here and just change the ID to 5 maybe. See if that changes. I think it will change. Let's see. It doesn't. Okay, interesting. So we have to first figure out what type of container that changes our loops. Now, as you guys can see, we also have to implement the loop for this For You page, I would say. So what we can do now is, I will actually first of all explain the layout for you guys, and then you guys will see, because we have to create the loops and we also have to create the different. So let's code the whole thing actually. So what we want to do is import all the JavaScript files that we just created. So let's do that. So we're gonna import videos 1, as you guys can see. We also want to import shorts container, and we also want to import videos 2, just like that. So let's save that. We also want to import a new React function, which is going to be use state. And before we even create the loops, we also want to create the different constants or the variables. Now, we are gonna create 5 different variables, which is gonna be equivalent to the 5 different pages that we want to display, right? So we want to create the const of home, which is gonna have the function set home, and this is gonna be initially true because we want to start on the home page of the channel page. And then we want to create the 4 other constants, which is going to be videos, shorts, playlist, community, and so forth. And these are all the functions that sets the values inside of these use state function. Now, we also want to create a function here that sets all of these states to the variables. And I will also say this, that this function here can definitely be optimized, and it's not the right way to code it, and I will probably fix that in the future, but for now we will have this type of long function here. It's quite inconvenient actually, but I will change that as well. And this will essentially, depending on what type of string we pass to this function, we will set the different variables to true or false. So pause the video and type this out. Okay. So now we have created that function. Let's go to our buttons here, because it is in fact the buttons that is going to set all of these variables here. And I will just copy this, but this is quite repetitive, so you guys will understand how it works. So every button here is going to have an on-click event. So practically when we click it, it will in fact issue our variable change here. And we want to call the same function because we have created a function. So this function in fact changes all the variables that we need dependent on what type of string we pass. And as you guys can see, the home button should have the home string, the videos should have the video string, the shorts should have the short string, and so on. So pause the video and type this out. Now, beneath this, we have actually our For You page here. And this is in fact... so what we want to do now is create the different states for the variables. So I will do that right now actually. So we can start with our home, and what I will do is actually remove all of the code inside of here. Because we will restructure the code, so to speak. So let's do that. Remove all the code here. This small line here should still be here, but we also want to remove this We actually don't want the small line, but we should also remove this. And this might seem quite counterproductive, but you guys will see why soon. So I will copy a whole lot of code here, and I'm going to display this or explain this. Okay, so this is the home variable, or the home state, so to speak. And inside of here we want to create, first of all, just an empty bracket here, no div, just an empty bracket. And then inside of this empty bracket we want to create the For You page as I've shown you. And this will have multiple For You pages. And we also want to have inside of this For You page obviously the title, and then the div, which is going to be the video container. And inside of this video container, we want to loop over the variables. So the structure is in fact the same over all this For You page, but we loop over different variables. So here we want to loop over the videos1 variable that we imported over here. And then we just say create the video create a video div with the class name of video that has an ID, which is going to be video.id. Then we want to have a thumbnail. Now the thumbnail is going to be the same for all the shorts and divs. You can probably change that if you have a database somewhere. And an API as well. Then beneath this thumbnail we want to create our video credentials, which is going to be a div with the class name of video credentials. And inside of this video credentials we want to have a p tag, which is going to be the title of the video, and this is going to be video.title. And then we want to create the stats for the videos, which is going to be the views and dates. And this is going to we just create a p tag, which is going to be video.views, and this is going to be dash video.date. And don't forget the space between here, because otherwise it will look quite funny. Okay, and beneath this For You page we also want to create a small line here. And then we will come to the short section, and the only difference in the layout structure is because we have our icon of the shorts here. And take notice of that we have already styled this type of structure, so we don't have to style it again. That's very convenient for us. Now, here we want to loop over the shorts container variable, which we imported up here. And this is obviously gonna take an item. I call it short. Up here I call it video. But this will make us able to link to the independent elements variables. So we create a video container, or a div with a class name of video, which is gonna take in the ID of the element, which is short.id. And then we just create a banner or the thumbnail. And we also create the video credentials, which is gonna be div class name video credentials. And then we create the title of the short, which is gonna be short.title inside of a p tag. And then we create the video's stats, which is gonna be the stats of the shorts in this case. And the stats is gonna be the same as for the videos, which is gonna be shorts.videos dash short.date. And this is not short.videos, it's short.views. Then we create a small line again and do the same thing as we did before with same layout, but it's a different variable name or different variable that we loop over. So let's save that and go over to our browser and see what happens right now. So as you guys can see, we are in fact if I go to the inspector, we will probably see a warning or something. Yeah, it's a warning. Each child in a list should have unique key properties, which is obviously that the same childs have the same ID, but that's fine, it still works. So as you guys can see, we can't scroll at the moment for some reason. We do have a scroll bar, but it still clips, so we have to fix that somehow. So it's still something wrong in the styling, so let's go and check that. But this code is obviously correct. And then we want to create the videos. I can also show you guys, if we head over to our browser again, we can also see that if I click on these buttons, the page disappears because we change page. If I click the home button again, the change appears. So that works. It's just a style that doesn't work at the moment. So let's fix that. Let's head over to our channel.sss style again, and I will do the same for the master code, I would say. And let's check every property here. So I can remove this, by the way. Let's remove that. I will just quick check if this changes anything. It doesn't. Okay, good. Nice. Okay, so we can also move this line up here. I don't think that's matter, but I will just stick to the original code. The channel menu should not change. It should not be changing. Nope, it's not. The channel header should not change, but the video container should, or the For You page should change a bit. So we have margin top 5 rem here, that's fine. We have width of 80%, that's fine. Max content, it's fine. We have flex starting column, that's fine. Yep, flex 1 or overflow is auto. Yep, that should work. We have margin rem here, that's fine. If we go over to our video container, we have width is min height, min content, the height is auto, the flex is fine, the center is fine, the scroll is fine. We also have the right properties here. The image is fine. This is fine. That is fine. This is also correct. Interesting. Huh. Maybe it is. Okay, so let's first of all change this width here because it's gonna be 200 pixels. I changed the dimensions a bit because it looks better, so let's do that. And that should be it, I think. This is short video. This is actually for the image. Interesting. Yep, and this works. Okay, so that's the new dimensions for the shorts. So if we go and check our browser, you guys will see that shorts is in fact getting a lot smaller on the width, but larger on the height. You know what, guys? I will come back to this problem later. Let's carry on with the code. I just changed some dimensions for the short video. As you guys can see, I've changed this to the width. Width is going to be 200 pixels and the height is going to be 350 pixels. Okay, so let's head over to our channel.jsx file and create the other layouts for the different variables. So the home is done. We can collapse this, that, and then we can go over to our videos. This is going to be a bit smaller, so let's do that. Okay, so in videos we want to create some buttons here, which is going to be the latest, popular, and oldest. Now these buttons are in fact going to sort the different videos depending on a certain option, and I haven't implemented that yet, but we might do that in the future. I will see. But as you guys can see, we also want to create a video container that loops over this variable, which is called videos, and we will in fact import that. We haven't imported that yet, but we're gonna do that. We also want to create the individual element so we can reference it, and we also want to create a div which is gonna have a class name of video, and this is gonna take in an ID of video.id. Then we also want to have a thumbnail, and then we also want to create video credentials and video stats, as I explained before. So let's import this video variable. So we're gonna type import the right way. Import, just like that. And we also want to destructure this as well. This is gonna be videos 1. And this is going to be from /videos container. Let's see if that worked. It's in fact not videos 1, it's just videos. Let's fix that. Head over to our browser again. And as you guys can see, nothing has really changed on the home page, but if we click on videos, now we have a huge amount of videos here, and we're gonna fix the styling for this. So let's go and do that. So let's head over to our VS Code, and since I want to structure it up a bit, I actually created a new styling sheet for this. So let's head over here. Now I will essentially just copy this whole thing and explain it for you guys. So let's copy this whole thing here and I will explain all the code here. So we want to create a container which is gonna have the width of 80% and the height is gonna be max content. We also want to center it without the display flex. So we use another method and use margin left and right, and this is both gonna have the attribute of auto. Then we want to create a margin top, so we have the space in the top. Then we want to position the video buttons, which is gonna have property of display, which has an attribute of flex. We also want to use align item center. The width and height is gonna be max content. The buttons is gonna have a padding of 0.5 rem. The border radius is gonna be 0.5 rem. The border and the outline is gonna be none. The margin dash right is gonna be 10 pixels. I also added a font family here. It's not necessary, but I think it looks better with this font family. We'll also collab this. Nice. Since we want to hover this button, we also want the cursor to be a pointer when we hover it. Then the background color is going to be white, this color in particular. We also want to create a transition, which is going to be used for the animation. And we also want to add a margin dash bottom here, which is going to be 1 rem. The hover effect is just a change in the background color, which is going to use this transition here, and it's going to be a bit darker. Then we also want to create a short container, but I will explain that later. So let's head over to our we also want to head over to our channel.jsx file and import this style sheet. So let's do that. So we're gonna import /videos.css, just like that. And I think I typed that wrong, probably. Yeah, because this is spelled wrong. Nice. Let's change that to videos.css. And now we can head over to our browser again, and you guys will see these buttons are probably, yeah, you can probably style these buttons better, but we will have this for now. But as you guys can see, we have our videos here, and you can also extend the amount of videos to like thousands if you want to, because we use a grid here, and I will explain that right now, what the grid is. So in here, in our short container, or I think it is inside our video container here, we actually create a grid here. As you guys can see, we don't use display flex here, we use grid. The width of this grid is going to be 100%, the height is going to be auto, because depending on how much content we have, the height will probably increase or decrease. Then we also want to create the template. Now, this will say that on every row we want to have 4 elements, and this is gonna be for one row. So if I put 2 here, we will have 4 elements in 2 rows, which is gonna be equal to 2 elements in 1 row. But since we want to have 4 elements in 1 row, you use this attribute here, and this is gonna be a repeat. So for every row, we use this attribute. Then the gap between the individual videos is going to be 10 pixels. We also want to add a padding inside of the video container, or the video dash container. And since we want to center this, we also want the margin dash left and margin dash bottom, which is going to be auto. The video here is going to have video heights, width and height of min content, and it's going to have a margin right. The thumbnail, which is going to be the image, is going to have these properties, which is going to be width of 300 pixels and the height of 175 pixels. The object is going to be fit, or object dash fit is going to be cover. And we also want to round the corner a bit, or round the corners, so this is going to be 1 rem. Then we have also the short thumbnail, which is going to be for the shorts, which we're going to create later. We also have short videos, which is going to be the whole div for the shorts, and this is gonna be the same for video credentials and also shorts credential. And this is the same layout as we used before. Now, I will probably stop here because this is taking quite long, and I will fix the other buttons in the next video and also fix this scrolling issue that we have. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Have a great evening or a great day, depending on when you watch it. And I hope you learned something from this. The code will be down in the description and also in the comments below, so you guys can go and check it out for yourself. And as I said before, this project here has no copyrights to it, so you can use it however you want. If you want to use it for a project or your portfolio, that's totally up to you. You can use it however you want. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching and have a great night.